What's up, everybody? We are here to do a little update on the video you probably watched earlier today, which was this Bryan Kohberger, Pennsylvania search warrant. And I was sent more lists, more stuff that was found and seized. And at first, I was a little apprehensive and not sure if it was legit, mainly because the one I read yesterday was redacted. Some addresses, some of the victims' names were redacted, which is what I prefer to put on the screen. There's no need for us to get information that's not helpful for us to figure out what's going on and seeing what's happened in the court system and what was searched and seized. We know it was his parents' house. We don't need to have their address. Well, I've been looking through it more and more and reading reports on it, and it seems like these 4 pages of additional items that were seized is legit. So what I'm going to try to do is show them on the screen with as little exposure to any addresses or names or anything that was redacted on the prior document we looked at. But I do want us to discuss, because a lot of what we discussed not being on the prior list, which was seized from his person, is found in this list. A lot more evidence for the state to go through, a lot more evidence to be presented in the preliminary hearing, a lot more evidence that, depending on what it actually shows, could prove guilt beyond a reasonable doubt if the state can make the connection. So we're going to go through the 4 pages of this list together for a little lunchtime listen for you. If you're following the Murdaugh closing arguments, they are long and they are continuing. But hit that like button if you're still interested in this case, and subscribe if you haven't already. But let's get to this additional list of items. So 1, a knife. A knife with no description. Is it the knife? Is it a kitchen knife? Is it a different hunting knife? We don't know, because all we get is knife, and the line through, just like on a check, is to make sure nobody else writes something in there, because that's what I'm worried about in this case, is people sending me fake documents that they copied based on the other one that we read that had the list of what they got from his person. But it seems like this is legit. It's got similar signatures on it to the other ones, which again could have all been copied, but we're going to discuss it as if, it's legit, because it seems as legit as the last one we went through. Number 2, a book with underlining on page 118. It's kind of cryptic and vague, but could also be very important, like how to get away with something, like we've seen other defendants literally search in Google. Number 3, an AT&T bill for Bryan Kohberger, a Glock 22 Gen 5 40 caliber with that serial number, a Smith & Wesson pocket knife, which we can pretty much cross out as the murder weapon, but showing some weapons here, a folder containing vehicle paperwork, Acer laptop, model number this. That's important. They have what seems like it might be his personal laptop. Now, with the laptop, with the gun, with the knife, those could also be his parents'. Right? It's his parents' house, so we don't know exactly where they found these things. A green leafy substance in green container. Could that be marijuana? Some drugs? Is he on the dope? We'll see. Is that going to become a part of this case? We've heard a lot about drugs. People that reportedly did drugs with him, sold him drugs, things like that. We'll see. White paper with password. Again, no idea why that's significant, but could be. Power cable. Cell phone, number 13, another big item. They have reportedly his cell phone. Again, it could be mom's cell phone or dad's cell phone, which would probably be inappropriately seized unless they have a reason to believe that they were involved or there's something on there that they need to prove his guilt. Number 14, 3 Glock 40 caliber magazines that were empty. 15 books. No idea what books. Why'd they pick some books and not the other? We know he was studying certain type of subject. As many of you said, your Google searches would be very interesting to law enforcement if you were accused of a crime like this. So they may have an explanation, meaning the defense, as to why he has these books. 16, black face mask. Now, is that a COVID face mask, or is it I almost called it a robber face mask. I think we all know, and I think when we think of the robber face mask, we put it over and it's got the holes here at the eyes. Again, face masks would have been a lot weirder in 2019 than they would be now. 17, a prescription. 18, black gloves. I don't have any black gloves, right? I think about this sometimes. I have lots of black face masks. I have a lot of this other stuff. They would find my gun. They would find probably a pocket knife somewhere in my house. They would find a laptop, a cell phone, documents, papers, prescriptions. No drugs in my house that I know of, at least. Um, but black gloves, that's an interesting one. One black hat, one black mask. So we have a black face mask and then a one black hat and one black mask. Now, a lot of people are saying he potentially um, committed the perfect crime or hid it. I'm going to remove it real quick so I can try to drop it down without seeing the address, and then I'll bring it back up. So why would he not get rid of this stuff? Right? I mean, if it really is what he was wearing the night of the murders, burn it, get rid of it, whatever. I mean, that's just, I don't know. 20, personal identifying documents. 21, New Balance shoes. So we didn't just have Nikes. Seems like that's what he was wearing, but we have New Balance shoes, dark colored jacket, dark jeans, dark surgical something, dark colored shirt, dark colored shirt, dark colored shorts, dark colored pants, I believe. Clear plastic gloves. They need better handwriting. One, can't even read that. One, can't read that one either. Feels like I've lost it. Something record of something Glock 22, 40 caliber, maybe a record of the gun, maybe purchase agreement or something. Putting it on the screen so you guys can try to read it as well. A criminal psychology book. Now, again, we know what he was doing with his life. And so that might not be as weird as if somebody who was a nurse had a criminal psychology book, right? I mean, I don't know if that would be considered weird either, but somebody who is studying psychology and criminology and things like that, that would not be weird. Documents and something of the University of something. Okay. I can't really read that. Oop, let me pull it off the screen again. Try to keep that address out of it as much as I can. Okay. An XL Columbia Navy fleece, maybe. A drawing of some sort. 10 gloves inside of a box, which would maybe mean they're not used, but he had them there. Another criminology book. So I guess just the general books was not necessarily criminology books because they're listing them more specifically. A dark colored hat, black gloves, another set of black gloves, I guess, which to me makes it less weird that he has black gloves. If you have 5 pair of black gloves, I guess I also live in Florida. So a lot of you, I'm sure, are already correcting me in the comments. I've got a lot of black gloves. I live in Minnesota or New York or whatever it may be. This guy lived in Pennsylvania and Idaho. So, or I guess Washington State. C grade Barracuda, 1 terabyte Samsung hard drive, a black box Samsung, looks like another type of hard drive, 2 pairs of black gloves, 1 black knit hat. Again, these are all things that potentially he could have been wearing that night. So they're going to test all of it. Did they find DNA? Did they find fibers of the carpet or fibers of anybody, hair fibers that were there? Blood, anything like that. A dark green short sleeve shirt, black long sleeve shirt, black sweater, gray something, 2 pairs of black pants, 1 pair of black jeans, 2 pairs of black jeans. I don't know why they didn't just write like, all right, 5 black shirts, 5 black pants, whatever. 2 black short sleeve shirts, 2 pair of black pants, 1 gray jacket, 1 gray knit hat, 1 black glove. I do like how they are narrowly tailoring it to the dark outfit he could have been wearing that night. So I appreciate that from law enforcement here and giving us this detailed inventory because it's exactly how it should be done. And just because she said dark or black doesn't mean it is black. Dark gray or dark green, that could also be in a similar description. motherboard silver or something, a motherboard of some sort. Washington State University paperwork, a note from Brian from Montana. That's interesting. Can't read that one. Medical documents and court documents. Huh. I wonder what court documents there were. All right, let's remove it, bring it down to the last page here. A note to dad from Brian. Okay. Did he make any admissions? Are these going to be things to show? Look, he said he admitted it. And if that's the case, highly doubt we have a trial in this case. I am very much looking forward to the preliminary hearing to see, because it's also going to be interesting, and we'll have to do this. It's going to take a lot of work. Compare the preliminary hearing and what evidence they show there versus what is on these lists. Because if they don't show certain gloves or shoes or hats or whatever, that means they found them but didn't find any evidentiary value worth putting in front of the judge. Same thing with the notes and the books and the paperwork and the password and the computer and the cell phone. Whatever evidence they get from that, I expect to be shown in the preliminary hearing. Because a lot of this was gotten after the probable cause affidavit, so it's not necessarily going to be contained in the probable cause affidavit. Maroon colored spiral notebook. What's in the notebook? They wouldn't have taken an empty notebook, right? Dark colored clothes. It's vague. HP something all-in-one computer. A Lenovo laptop. And this is what makes me think they're taking mom's laptop, dad's laptop, everybody's laptop in the house. Target. Can't read what that is, but it looks like it might be electronics as well. Dark clothes in laundry basket. But this was, over a month later. A Taylor cutlery knife with leather sheath. Ooh, that's interesting. Another knife with a leather sheath. I think I have exactly 0 of those in my house. Some swabs, 2 pair of dark colored boots, 1 pair of brown boots. So this is the additional information and list of things that were seized. A lot more potential evidence here than what we saw before. A big difference between this list of 4 pages with guns, knives, sheaths, clothes, computer, hard drives. Hard drives are always interesting too, because in my experience in doing criminal defense on both sides, a lot of times they put stuff on hard drives to take it off of the computer. But usually they hide or destroy or, do something with those hard drives. They don't just leave them right next to the computer for the most part. And a lot of those are computer crimes. But I don't know if Google search list wouldn't be saved on a hard drive, but maybe some research he was doing or some, if he was filming them or doing some kind of casing the joint like people have been talking about, maybe he saved some of that. Maybe he saved some of their social media information. We just don't know. Right. But we do know if it's there and if he had it in hard document form, books, paperwork, notebooks, pieces of white paper, they've got it. If he had it on his cell phone, hard drives, computers, or mom or dad's computers, they've probably gotten it. So they have the opportunity to do a very thorough investigation of Brian Kohberger. And it seems like such a difference from the other trial we're watching right now on what they're gathering, how they're executing these search warrants. This is how it's supposed to be done. When you have a homicide or multiple homicides, it's not just supposed to be ho-hum. I walk through the house one time and look around and don't even take much with me. Take everything that could be important and connected and relevant to this crime. You have the warrant, you have the probable cause, you have the appropriate authorities signing off on it. Take it, test it, find who did this. That is what an investigation at this point is supposed to look like. That's what a prosecuting officer is supposed to want to do, or prosecuting lawyer is supposed to want to do with law enforcement and with investigators. And it seems like they're doing it in that case, which I think is great, or in this case, I should say, which is great and going to be helpful. And hopefully we get the right person so we get justice for the victims in that case. Hopefully you guys enjoyed this little update. Let me know your reaction when you found out there was more. There was more to what we talked about in the first video that just did not seem like anything. The warrant was thorough. They had basically every They had autonomy to go in whatever time they wanted to, stay as long, take as much as they could that was connected to this. And we find out they actually did take a lot more than it initially seemed like they got off of his person. So please let me know what you think in the comments. I'll get in there. We'll talk through this together. Hopefully you guys are enjoying the Murdoch content, but stay posted, stay tuned, hit that subscribe button so you don't miss anything on our channel. Thanks for joining us today.